Coming up on UGTV, Standing Committee meetings of the Unified Government of Wyandotte County, Kansas City, Kansas. We begin with a meeting of the Public Works and Safety Standing Committee. This will be followed by the Administration and Human Services Standing Committee.
I am going to call the meeting of Public Works and Safety Standing Committee to order, and we do want to welcome everyone to our meeting. Public comment is welcome. Anyone wishing to speak on any item on the Standing Committee agenda may do so when that item is up for discussion, and you will have up to 3 minutes to state your comments. We would ask you to come to the microphone and be recognized, and we would ask anyone speaking to please speak directly into a microphone. Could I have the clerk call the roll, please?
Roll call: Bryant.
Here.
Philbrook.
Here.
Markley.
Here.
Kane. Here. Johnson.
Here.
Bynum.
Here. We have approval of our minutes from the May 22nd meeting. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those minutes are approved. The first item is a request to apply for the fiscal 18 Federal Victims of Crime Act grant. And we're asking, staff is requesting this item be fast-tracked to this Thursday's full commission meeting. I would ask Kristen Chugala to come forward and present this item briefly.
I can do briefly.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kristen Chugala. I'm the Supervisor of Victim Services at the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department. So the VOCA grant, the Victims of Crime Act grant, is what primarily funds our unit. It's funded our unit since 1999. It pays for 3 of our full-time staff members at 75% of our salaries, and our protection order advocate at 100% of her salary. It also pays for our benefits, some office supplies, 100% travel to conferences, emergency supplies for victims, including lock replacement, window and door repairs, and emergency shelter for domestic violence victims when the shelter is full. Each year we serve about 10,000 victims and provide more than 15,000 services to those victims. What we do is we respond to homicide scenes and other scenes as needed. We generally provide information, support to victims of crime, let them know what happens next. We do crisis intervention, and our protection order advocate does court advocacy. So the grant runs October 1st through September 30th. I am requesting about $20,000 more from the grant and federal funds than the last year. That's to accommodate for our salaries and benefits. We've had some staff changes and also some remodeling of our space to make it safer and more private for our clients. And the grant would pay for that at 75%. The additional match that has to go along with that, we can provide 20% match for all of our federal funds. I'm not asking for any additional money from the unified government. I'm utilizing existing sources like the value of our space, what it would cost if we were to have to pay rent for that space.
Can you turn your mic on?
Turn your mic on.
They can't hear you out on TV.
Out of all that.
Thank you.
Sorry.
So you're using in kind.
Yeah, most of it's in kind, but also some of that match is the 25% of our salary that the unified government is responsible for. So that's money that already is committed to our unit. So I'm just utilizing that.
Okay, so if you'll just repeat the number amount so the people in TV land can hear that, then.
Yes. Sorry about that. So the federal dollars that I'm requesting are $270,000 and change. That's an increase of about $23,000 from the year before. I'm asking for no additional dollars from the unified government. I'm making use of money that's already committed to our unit from previous years.
Second.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. And I just want to thank you for all the work you and your staff do. It's amazing work and really important. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this item? If not, roll call, please.
Roll call, Bryant,
Aye.
Philbrook,
Aye.
Markley,
Aye.
Kane, Johnson,
Aye.
Bynum.
Aye. And that motion carries, and we thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next two items are proposed revisions to County Emergency Operations Plan. And I know, sir, that you have had a busy weekend. And we thank you for that and for that dedication and all that you did again this weekend, just like last time we were here together.
Yeah.
Item 2 is oil and hazardous materials response. Mr. May.
Thank you, Commissioners. I appreciate you considering this. This is, again, the ongoing rebuild of our community emergency response plan. ESF 10 specifically addresses oil and other hazardous materials. And so this is fairly significant in our jurisdiction. We have a significant number of risks here, and being able to manage those correctly and making sure that we are all talking to each other, we know how we're going to do that, is what this plan is all about. This one is a little more cumbersome than others in terms of volume because there's such a strong regional effort. Here we've elected to include as an appendix to this document the regional plan because we point to it in so many places. We felt it was important to have it together as one piece. So there are no significant changes from in the past, a lot of updates, and the newest version of that regional plan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Second.
All right. Any further conversation on this item? We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Roll call, Bryant,
Aye.
Philbrook,
Aye.
Markley,
Aye.
Kane, Johnson,
Aye.
Bynum.
Aye. And that motion carries. Thank you. And the next item is changes to our EOP regarding emergency management.
Right. This is ESF 5 section of the plan. It is really emergency management's piece. And by size, you wouldn't guess it, but it's really because it points to all the rest of the document. It's mostly about our procedures within the facility, how we're going to notify our own staff, other UG staff, and yourselves. And so it's a lot of steps and things like that, but for the most part, all the operational pieces are actually elsewhere in the document. So,
I have one question.
yes, ma'am.
More pieces to come after this one, or is this
You know,
the-
there are a couple. The base plan is left. That's the big piece that's left. We're working on that now. We plan to have that to you in a couple weeks. With that will come a new debris management plan we would like to implement as well. So it's one of the annexes, and we're going to try really hard to have a couple of more of the annexes updated by then, including our foreign animal disease annex, which I just met with the emergency planner for the Department of Agriculture to make sure that we were in the new processes that she wants to have done. So we're working towards that. It's our grand hope to have this wrapped up by the end of this month.
Wow.
And be able to submit it to the state in September, which will be a couple of months ahead of time. We are showing them pieces of this as we go so that they've kind of had some pre-approval opportunities. We're fixing some things that they wanted to see expanded upon and in the other documents that you've looked at. So you will see a few changes when we bring the entire plan to commission in those previously accepted pieces to make sure, mostly additions, to make sure that we've met or exceeded the state's expectation.
Thank you so much.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner Philbrook.
Well, after we vote on this, I was just wondering if we could get a little update from him on where things are.
So yes, we can quickly have a 1 or 2 minute update, but let us, since we have a motion and a second on this item, let me have roll call on this motion.
Roll call, Bryant,
Aye.
Philbrook,
Aye.
Markley,
Aye.
Kane, Johnson,
Aye.
Bynum.
Aye, and that motion carries. And would you give us 1 or 2 minutes on this
What's going on out in the field,
experience?
as we call it? Sure. In fact, just to make sure I quote it correctly, if you don't mind, I'm going to refer to my notes that I've been carrying around all day. We are working, we did have what I have classified as a microburst, and the folks at National Weather Service took me at my word. I've worked with them enough that they said, we're not even going to send anybody out. We're with you on it. The evidence was quite clear. So this wasn't as widespread. So it's very isolated, very small, compact area. 80th Terrace on the east, Minnesota Street on the north, Ellis on the south, and 85th on the west. That doesn't mean if you're outside that you didn't get something, but it's where the concentration of that was. And a microburst is simply a very large, high amount of wind coming straight down and then bursts out at the sides. And in fact, National Weather Service was kind enough to share with me a graphic from their radar that actually shows it on radar. It's pretty amazing. So it's pretty clear what was going on there. Right now, we have done a tour, Assistant County Administrator Criswell and I've forgotten. Seaman, thank you. I knew I'd get it. Went out and toured the area with our Public Works Director and with Mike Taylor and looked at the area on Sunday, and there was significant work going on. To the neighbors' credit, they're helping each other. You could tell they were getting things done. We have put out some messaging. We also opened a cooling center / shelter if it needed to be. It turned out nobody needed that. That was great. That worked out fine, but we had about 12 people come and visit the cooling center during that heat of the day between 5 o'clock when most of the other cooling opportunities usually are closed, the libraries and so forth. So we wanted to give them an option there. Also, it's a place where we're so dependent on our devices, they could recharge radios or cell phones or whatever they had. And then everybody at 10 o'clock said, you know what, we're ready to go home. And it was cooled off enough. So that worked out great. But we were prepared to shelter them overnight if need be. And that's working closely with the Red Cross. That relationship continues today. Red Cross is out doing individual casework with the affected folks in that same area. They're going to go talk to every family in that area. So regardless of whether they have damage or not, they're going to make sure they don't have any other needs that's come about, maybe even at this point just some food replacement or something along those lines, as they are losing because they don't have power back yet because of the immense amount of tree damage that's there. They are also doing, they're giving them things like comfort kits and implements if they need rakes and shovels and things like that to help them do that cleanup that they're trying to do. And then they are also passing our message on behalf of us, which is to contact 311 and make sure that their address is on the list to get pickups done if they need to do that and if they need any additional help. We've not heard back from 311 that anybody specifically has that need, but we're prepared to deal with that if that comes around. Thank you. Damage assessments are being done now by our codes department, but prior to that, Red Cross did their own, and they look at a little different criteria. I call it the will I sleep in it tonight criteria. So they classified 2 homes as destroyed, 11 as major damage, 22 with minor damage, which basically means they'll still be able to sleep in it. It's just going to need some fixing up, roof damage, something like that. And then there were 51 others that had some sort of effects, but not necessarily anything specifically the house. It could be a tree on a car, it could be a non-dwelling building like an outbuilding, it could be fence line, something like that, for a total of 100 and an additional 108 in that defined area that didn't have power and still don't to this moment as far as I can tell. That's a total of 194 homes that they evaluated. So that was good work. They did that in really a few hours. They sent 4 teams over and got a lot of good work done. So, and our codes guys are looking at it from a slightly different aspect, but their numbers are yet to come in because they were out there today. So that's where we are. We're kind of trying to keep track on it, trying to make sure that the folks, if they have a need that they can't handle themselves, if they don't have it already addressed with insurance or some other method, are being at least addressed and seeing if we can help them. That's where we are at the moment.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Happy to do it.
And I just would say thank you to you, thank you to Jeff Fisher at the back of the room and all the Public Works folks and all of our partners at the BPU for everything you're doing. This concludes this standing committee meeting, and I would like you all to know that the Board of Commissioners will meet at 5:30, which is in 15 minutes, in Commission Chambers to conduct a final public hearing on our 2018 UG and CDBG budgets, and you all are welcome to attend. Thank you. We are adjourned.